Welcome to Small Arm Solutions. Today we're looking at a product that came out not so long ago. It was one of those products that I had seen when it came out, and I was sort of like, why? And I saw a couple other people who did some write-ups on it, and I started to look a little bit more interesting than my initial thoughts were on it. So I wanted to actually take a look at one. What we're looking at today is a Desert Tech Quattro lower receiver. Quattro lower receiver basically means you have a quad stack magazine. This is not a standard magazine like the D60. This is a specialized magazine that's designed specifically for this lower receiver. And it holds 53 rounds. And you have a lower receiver that is made specifically for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this rifle apart because this only comes as a lower receiver. So I had put on, for doing my testing, my Centurion upper receiver for the testing. So we're just going to take a look at the lower receiver right now. First thing we're going to take a look at is the magazines, because this is really the heart of the entire system. First, we're going to take a look at the standard GI mil-spec 30-round magazine. Now we're going to take a look at the Quad Mag 53, which is designed specifically by Desert Tech for this lower receiver. If you want to take a look at the sizes, they're about identical in height, which is really, really nice. Width, as you can see, they're night and day. Again, a quad stack versus a double column. So the first thing I looked at is I said, well, why go with this when I can just go with this? This is a Surefire D60, 53 round, 60 round magazines. When you take a little bit look at the height. Now, this is no longer in production. This had very, very mixed reviews. Personally, I've had like 5 or 6 of these, and all of them worked 100%. When I look at some of the reviews online, many people say that these didn't work, they weren't reliable. So I think that was probably the starting point with Desert Tech with this, was to make one that was 100% reliable right out of the box. And that was not modifying a magazine to take 60 rounds, but to design one that was made to take the 53 rounds. So I definitely saw the reasoning why going to this versus going with something that was like this. These, unfortunately, for the most part, were just never very, very reliable. I think I must have been lucky in the fact that all mine had worked. I fired a lot of these things on full auto. I've never had a problem. But this was what they wanted to stay away from. So this magazine has been tested very, very thoroughly by them. Drop tested. I did a little bit of drop testing myself. We had 5 of these magazines. I loaded up all 5 of them on twice, and we tested them. And this magazine is durable. It's robust. It's wide. You're basically carrying nearly 2 of these magazines in one. So your overall loadout is going to be half the loadout. You know, instead of having 6 magazines, you're going to have 3 magazines. And we're going to talk a little bit more about where I think this really comes in good. On my right here is the Quattro, and on my left here is a standard mil spec. If you notice, the back end is all the same. It's the front is where it gets different. The front of the magazine well is beveled out to accept the new magazine. This is a forging. This is not a build. This is actually a forging. The other thing that they did with this was they gave you all of the ambi features that you would want, and they did a very good job executing it. So first off, you have the ambi bolt catch. You have your ping pong paddle on the left-hand side. Then on the left side, you have a ambi catch and release. It's very similar to that of the HK A4 version or the Blue Teal Industries type. Works very, very well. You also have the ambi magazine release. You look at your magazine release button. It's oversized compared to the standard one. So you have your right side, and you look over to your left side, you have it as well. Now, again, this came as a strip lower receiver. I built this up with a parts kit that came from Geisley. So basically we have the Geisley Super Duty type front pivot and rear takedown pins that has the texturing on the side. This came as an assembly with the bolt catch and the magazine release already installed. So we have the Geisley ambidextrous safety, Geisley SSA trigger. We have the Geisley mil-spec receiver extension. We have the Geisley H2 buffer with the braided recoil spring. And of course, I put on my staple, my Magpul Myad pistol grip and CTR stock. So that's how we built this one up to do our testing. So as you see, the magazine just pops right in place, like so. Innovation didn't stop here. They did not want to make this so this was only capable of using the quad magazines. They developed a set of inserts which will allow you to use a standard double stack magazine in this as well. So these basically pop in. You have a right side that will pop in. Snaps in like so. Now, There's one part you have to add on to here is you have to make an extension that goes from your magazine release, because obviously it has to sit in a lot deeper to go into the single column magazine versus the double column. So basically this has a little sleeve on here, and that will slide right over your magazine release. Slides in place. Now you can take your other end, drop it right up into place, and then that will snap in like so. And now you convert it over. Now it will take a standard GI type magazine as well. So with this lower receiver, the way it was designed, you're not just chained to just the Quad Mag 53. You can also use any mil-spec magazine. Now, we had taken this out to the range where you're going to see the footage coming up where we tested it with both the Quad Mag 53 and we tested it with this, and it worked just as well with either magazine. So this gives you a adaptability, which is really, really good. And again, everything snaps into place. As you saw, there was no tools that were necessary to remove it. Same thing, just pop out the sides, right in the bottom, pop out the inside on the left-hand side, pop back upward on your extension on your magazine release. This is a little bit harder because I have bigger hands to get to it. There you have it. Now we're converted back to the Quad 53. So the upper receiver that I decided to use for testing on this was a special one I had done by Monty LeClaire over at Centurion Arms. I basically spec'd out this upper receiver specifically for my needs. We started off with his upper receiver. We have a Magpul dust cover. We have the Springfield lever AR charging handle, which is basically a rearward assist. This is actually useful. A forward assist is not. What this is designed for is if you have your bolt gets locked up or you can't pull the charging handle, instead of having to mortar it like so, you hit a lever, you open it up, and there you have a camming surface on your upper receiver, and this gives you leverage to break that open, which is an incredible addition for as far as reliability, because this is actually reliable. This actually does something when the forward assist is causing a problem. This charging handle is solving a problem. The bolt carrier group we have on here is the Centurion Arms chrome plated. This is his enhanced with the dual ejectors. The barrel was a barrel that I'd actually spec'd out to him. He'd asked me what I thought was the best barrel out in the market. What would I want if I could create one? I told him I wanted a SOCOM profile barrel, mid-length gas system, no step cuts, cold hammer forged, chrome lined. That's exactly what he made me. We have the C4 handguard. And I also have, this was my last, unfortunately. This was an arms folding front sight. This is actually a drilled and pin one. So this was the upper receiver that we used. And this was a system that we tested. So we're going to take this to the range and we're going to see how it shoots. Insert the right side. Snaps in place. Now sort of the tricky part. We have to add the magazine release. We have to extend the magazine release. You can see that we have a little sleeve on here. So what that's going to do is slide over the magazine catch. Just like so. So that's extended inwards. Now we're going to take this side. You have to pop that up so the magazine catch clears. It catches. There we have it. Close it up. Now we're going to take the standard P-Mag. Insert. Place the Quattro back in its normal configuration. Check to make sure it's empty. We're going to close the bolt again, break it right back open. Pop out the right side. Pop out the left side. And we just got to slide upward on the magazine catch. Harder when you have bigger hands. And now we're back being able to use the large magazines. Intertech Quattro quad stack. was 53 rounds without a single malfunction. It's a lot of firepower in one magazine, reliably. Well, we didn't test this for accuracy. We tested this just for mechanics. I was testing the lower receiver and the bolt. And we had no malfunctions, and we had 2 complete loadouts of 5 magazines of the Quad Mag 53, and I think I had 4 or 5 loadouts of the 30-round magazines, and we just shot just for reliability, and it shot perfect. So now I'm looking at the question is why. Initially, I thought you were adding, complexity, that it was not something that was necessary. It was not going to be useful. After getting my hands on it and looking at it, actually, I sort of changed my mind on that. Looking at it, I could see where this would be very, very useful for a law enforcement, for a SWAT, where you would have one magazine that basically is 2 loadouts. So if you had to grab your rifle and carry spare magazines, this would work for that. This could work for a SWAT team. For as far as military use, this was actually designed around a military requirement. However, it was never adopted. I'm not sure how that requirement, whether it was just stopped or there's any issues with it. From as far as a mechanical standpoint, I don't see any issues. The only thing I really would like to do with this is to see how it works on full auto. I'm sure Desert Tech does have some full auto lower receivers where they've tested this. So you have a reliable system. You have all the ambi features that you would want. You have a lot of firepower in one loadout like this. You have 53 rounds in your rifle with 1 magazine. For as far as carrying your spare magazines, of course, you'd have to have specialized pouches that were made for that because they are heavy. But again, you're looking at for every 1 Quad 53 magazine, you're carrying pretty much 2 of your standard magazines. So I think there's definitely a use for it. I think it's a brand new product that most people haven't heard of. A lot of people like to get, they're afraid of anything that's proprietary, but unfortunately, when it comes to innovation, it is proprietary. Anybody can go out and get a standard lower receiver like this and a standard magazine, and you can stay with the same thing that's been done for the last 60 years. The fact that they're still evolving to different requirements, this is showing the system is the system still does evolve, and this is a good example of that. So something that, initially I looked at as a gimmick. Actually, I got my hands on it and I looked at it and I said, you know what, this is good, this is reliable, it works. Especially for what many of you told me about the reliability of the Surefire 60 round magazine. This is a far better option for as far as durability and reliability. And again, having your ability to pop in your inserts to go to your other magazines, it's a very good product all the way around. Now the lower receiver is $294. So you're getting, again, a stripped lower receiver with the bolt catch and the magazine release. Everything else is you're going to put on yourself. So you can put on your whatever trigger that you want and whatever stock, you can put whatever you want on it and build it out to your specifications yourself. The magazines come one with the kit. Then you have the Quad Mag loadout kit, which has 4 magazines. So again, as it comes 1 lower receiver, 1 magazine, and then you can get this separately, which has your loadout. All that's available from Desert Tech directly. I'm not sure if they go through distribution or how that's available. But those of you who are interested in seeing something a little bit different, who are interested in having a higher capacity magazine that's reliable and not you're going to have sacrificed reliability for those types of issues with those coffin magazines that again are designed to do something that magazine wasn't designed to do. This is really, really a good option. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please click like, please subscribe, and even better, share.